Welcome back. 140 single police personnel will now have accommodation at the McGregor Police Barracks outside Port Moresby. The new accommodation building was funded under the PNG Australia Policing Partnership at a cost of 2.4 million kina. Police Commissioner Gary Bucky said the accommodation is a critical issue for the RPNGC, and the assistance from the Australian Federal Police and the people and the Government of Australia is a relief. Jacqueline Yala reports.
The new accommodation building at McGregor Barracks was officially opened by the Police Commissioner Gary Bucky and the Australian Federal Police Assistant Commissioner to Papua New Guinea Bruce Giles today. The event was witnessed by senior officers from RPNGC and the Australian Federal Police. Boasting 70 rooms, the single barracks will cater for 140 personnel, 2 to a room. It will cater for both male and female police personnel, the first in the history of the RPNGC.
Those days of where we're separating women and men living in different barracks, in my view, is gone. If they are members of the special service and they belong to a squad, they must be treated like their male counterparts. So if this is the barracks she lives in, it is the barracks she will have to live, which means that the male colleagues will have to give credit and actually appreciate the fact that they have a female officer who's living with them and treat her with dignity and respect.
It's a continuous support and a policing partnership of PNG and Australia. Police Commissioner Gary Bucky said they may not reach the demand for police accommodation, but they would like to work together with other stakeholders to meet the demand.
We may not reach the number of accommodation that we would want, particularly to build a strength up to that level. So it would mean that we will have to go into partnership with the provincial governments and members of parliament, particularly in the districts as well too.
40 members from Bomana Police College will soon move in. Bucky said the facility will also be used for training purposes.
One part of that barracks is going to be used specifically for training, meaning that any officers that we bring in for training purposes will be accommodated so that we don't look anywhere else for accommodation.
Jacqueline Yala, NBC National News, Port Moresby.
Turning overseas, U.S. President Barack Obama has criticized Donald Trump's reaction to the Orlando shooting. He called Trump both derisive and dangerous.
Well, we've seen President Obama angry and frustrated over gun control before, particularly after the shooting in Newtown in which children were killed, and again last summer in Charleston where he gave a moving eulogy at a church where 9 worshippers were gunned down. But this is a president that is now extremely angry and pointing his fingers directly at the Republican Party, saying every time he tries to introduce legislation to stop people buying assault weapons and increase background checks, they simply block it. Let's listen to what he has to say about that particular issue.
Enough talking about being tough on terrorism. Actually be tough on terrorism and stop making it easy as possible for terrorists to buy assault weapons. Reinstate the assault weapons ban. Make it harder for terrorists to use these weapons to kill us.
Now, the president also answered his detractors, and this all comes down to 2 words and 1 man. The word being radical Islam, the man being Donald Trump. Donald Trump, in fact, on Monday, asked for President Obama to step down because he refused to use those words.
What exactly would using this label accomplish? What exactly would it change? Would it make ISIL less committed to trying to kill Americans? Would it bring in more allies? Is there a military strategy that is served by this?
Now, this could be one of the defining speeches of President Obama's last few months, but one of the key points here is that the alleged gunman in this case was allowed to go out and buy weapons just days before this attack, despite the fact that it had been investigated by the FBI twice. Now, in the last few hours, a senior Republican Party member has said they would like to take a look at that particular loophole to stop people, for instance, who are on the no-fly list from going out to buy weapons, which the FBI or anyone else can't stop at this moment in time. But there is clearly a divide in this country over things like gun control, over things like immigration, and something we will see increasingly talked about as we get closer to November's presidential election.
And here now is Donald Trump's reaction to the president's comments.
Once again, we've seen that political correctness is deadly. They don't want to talk about the problem. And I watched President Obama today, and he was more angry at me than he was at the shooter. And many people said that.
Stay with us on NBC National News.